Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores launch trailer teases the franchise's biggest boss fight. The Metal Devil is a machine in Horizon Zero Dawn. It is not a contemporary machine, rather it is one of 3 machines of the ancient Chariot Line, manufactured by the robotics and technology giant Faro Automated Solutions during the mid-21st century. As such, it was designated as the FAS-BOR7 Horus by FAS, also called the Horus Titan. However, one swarm of chariot robots, including Horuses, went out of control, becoming the Faro Plague, which ultimately eradicated all life on Earth. That battle is one of the reasons Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores won't be available on PlayStation 4, even though you can play the original game on Sony's last-generation console. The cityscape ruins of LA and its surroundings are highly detailed and require a lot of processing power as well as fast streaming technology to run properly, Horizon Forbidden West game director Mathijs Jonge told the PlayStation blog last month. He went on to add there's a particular battle scene that requires a lot of memory and processing power. The FAS-BOR7 Horus was designed by FAS owner and CEO Ted Faro, and developed as part of FAS Chariot Line of combat robots. Faro designed the Chariot Line to operate in swarms similar to those of certain insects. Horuses were the colossal queens of a swarm, replicating other swarm robots as well as themselves, in numbers that invariably overwhelmed any enemy force. Additionally, they themselves were formidable combat machines, adept at tearing into and destroying huge enemy fortifications. They could consume biomass as fuel in the event of fuel line interdiction, and their network was virtually unbreakable. 2. The Faro Plague. In 2064, a swarm owned by the Heartstimor Energy Combined suffered a bug that caused it to become an independent entity, answering only to itself. The swarm began attacking company personnel, ignored shutdown codes, and began replicating at an extreme rate, defaulting to biomass conversion as its fuel supply. The swarm came to be called the Faro Plague, and began to relentlessly consume the biosphere, ultimately eradicating all life. With no chance of containing or retaking control of the swarm, Project Zero Dawn was implemented to eventually brute force the swarm's deactivation codes, shut the robots down, terraform the ravaged Earth and re-establish life after its extinction. The Faro Plague's Horuses numbered in the thousands when it was finally shut down. Unlike the other swarm robots, which were buried by the Zero Dawn system, the chassis of the swarm's Horuses were left where they fell when they were deactivated, with many of them now overgrown with vegetation. In the New World. Centuries passed. Zero Dawn, managed by its governing artificial intelligence GAIA, successfully terraformed the planet and re-established life, including humanity. Through no fault of their own, the new humans lived primitive, tribal existences. The titanic derelicts of the deactivated Horuses became part of tribal legend and religious belief. Currently, there are 11 known inactive Horus carcasses as well as one potentially active one that Aloy has encountered on her journey. One is in the southern part of the Norra's sacred land, one lies in the southernmost edge of Banuk territory, and one is in the Karja Sundom, deep in the jungles of the Jewel. Another Horus can be found in the spin-off game, Call of the Mountain. Meanwhile, in the Forbidden West, one is in Cinnabar Sands where Silence interrogated Hades, one near a facility near the southeast of Jagged Deep, one is perched atop the mountains near Desert's Tear and Scalding Spear, one is over the mountains to the west of the Still Sands, one is in the Valley of the Fallen, and one is on the Golden Gate Bridge in the Isle of Spires. And the final one that appears to have been reactivated is in the Burning Shores DLC atop the Hollywood sign. As derelicts exposed to the elements in their locations for centuries, the serviceability of these metal devils is unknown. Indeed, it is unknown if they can be reactivated at all, though the one in which Hades took refuge still had a functional computer core. While it was possible for Hades to reactivate the smaller robots of the Faro Plague, it must be noted that these robots were buried, and thus had some protection from the elements. The only interaction between Aloy and a Horus is when she uses its power cell. The reactivation of even one metal devil would doubtless be an existential threat to the restored biosphere. The Faro Plague's metal devils were able to replicate other swarm robots, including other metal devils, at rates high enough to overwhelm the technologically advanced military forces of the mid-21st century. It can therefore be logically surmised that, had Hades managed to reactivate a metal devil, the technologically primitive peoples of the New World would have stood no hope at all of stopping it from creating a second Faro Plague. In the trailer for the Burning Shores DLC, the closing shot is that of an apparently reactivated Horus. It's unknown how functional this Horus is, or how it became active, as the DLC for Horizon Forbidden West has not dropped yet. Appearance: metal devils are colossal, large enough to easily crawl over a mountain. Resembling a giant lobster, sea scorpion, or similar aquatic arthropod, a metal devil stands on 10 legs with 4 long, triple-jointed legs supporting the segmented tail, while 6 shorter legs support the front of the main chassis. Covered in thick, black armor plating, it has 4 massive tentacles at its front. Each one is at least as long as the metal devil's body and is tipped with an enormous drill, designed to penetrate into heavily armored fortifications and bunkers. Abilities: siege drills, mounted on the end of immense tentacles. These powerful drills can easily tunnel into the toughest of fortifications, allowing smaller units to breach enemy defenses or allowing the Horus to reduce a structure to rubble. Replication/repair bay: the Horus features a mammoth repair and manufacturing bay where it can churn out new machines at an overwhelming pace to replenish a swarm's losses faster than they could be incurred. Size: the Horus could simply use its impressive size and heavily armored chassis to trample anything in the Titan's way. Biomatter conversion system: originally meant as an emergency measure in case fuel supplies were cut, this system allows Horuses to turn any organic matter into biofuel. Polyphasic entangled waveform encryption: in order to prevent the Horus possibly being remotely accessed or hacked, this beyond military-grade security encryption was integrated into the Horus's operating system. EMP charges: these could be fired or flung from the Horus to take out communications or other electronic devices. They would be manufactured in the Horus and then dispensed on the top. Other weapons could be present, most likely some kind of cannon or anti-air systems, although nothing of the sort has been confirmed.